Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. It's time for Spotlight, where we take a look at what's going to be happening for Fire Prevention Week 2025.
In today's homes, lithium-ion batteries power our everyday lives, from smartphones, laptops, and power tools. But with great power comes great responsibility. This Fire Prevention Week 2025, we're urging you to charge into fire safety. Always use batteries, chargers, and devices that are certified by recognized testing labs. Never crush, puncture, or expose batteries to extreme heat. Store them properly to avoid overcharging. Watch for signs of danger, swelling, overheating, strange odors, or smoking. Dispose of used or damaged batteries at approved recycling centers. Never throw them in the regular trash. If a battery catches fire, don't try to fight it yourself. Evacuate and call the fire service immediately. Spread the message. Share these tips with your friends, family, and community, because safety is everyone's responsibility. This Fire Prevention Week, don't just plug in and forget. Charge into fire safety and power your homes the safe way.
Charge into fire safety. That's what we're doing this Fire Prevention Week, which will have kicked off on Sunday this morning. Let me welcome Fire Sub Officer Jude Rogers and Fire Prevention Officer Rakesh Dash. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome back to the Now Morning Show.
It's a pleasure to be here with you again.
Good morning.
So that video that we kicked things off with is about lithium batteries, right? Now, I know every time we go to the airport or you go on a flight, they ask you, do you have any lithium batteries in your bag? Most people just automatically say no without even thinking about what lithium batteries are. So lithium batteries are the ones that we use to power your cell phones and most of the electronic devices that we have, yeah? What are some of the dangers with lithium batteries?
First of all, it's a very common way of charging all our devices, and I just want to highlight some of the devices that you are seeing and hearing now. Those devices are from your cell phones, your tablets, your laptops. We have even e-scooters and e-bikes, and of course our electric vehicles. They all run on lithium-ion batteries.
Right.
All right, so it's more common than we've ever seen them before. And Trinidad and Tobago is going to be seeing an uptick in that as the technology comes into our country more and more. So we really want to get ahead of it, because the danger is thermal runaway. And that's a phenomenon where one of the cell overheats because of that damage or something that may have gone on within the cell of the battery. And because they're all located next to each other, one cell radiates to the next cell, and then you have a thermal runaway. And that's spontaneous combustion, and it's high heat. So you saw the explosion on the video.
Yeah.
So it's not something that you can actually approach. So we want persons to be aware of that. We want to get ahead of it. We want persons to know how to charge into fire safety.
But in terms of what causes that trigger to happen, in terms of one cell going bad or whatever, is it overcharging?
Right, so
is it?
There's quite a few things that can cause it to happen. You may have a situation where the battery overheated. Think about having your cell phone or your charger, your additional charger, and it's in the sun in a hot car for the whole day.
Right.
Just think about that.
Yeah.
Or you use an e-scooter to get from point A to point B. It got hot in the sun, and then you decide to charge it immediately right after.
Okay.
You don't want to charge a lithium-ion battery when it's hot.
Okay.
And you don't want it to go beyond a certain temperature. All right. There are many more reasons, but we'll get into it as we discuss.
Of course. Fire Prevention Officer does tell me, in terms of making sure that we are as safe as possible during this Fire Prevention Week, right? We just heard that we have a heat wave that's coming. How does that affect our fire safety, and are there any precautions that we should be taking?
Yes, Tom, good question. So concerning the heat wave that we may have coming, concerning the safety with the lithium-ion batteries, as Officer Rogers said, we want to store them in a cool place as possible, not keep away from direct sunlight, and basically have it, when you charge your lithium-ion batteries, we recommend that you charge them on a non-combustible hard surface.
Okay.
Definitely away from mattresses, couches, and under your pillows. So those are some of the don'ts.
Think about it, Rocco. A lot of people charge their phones.
You wouldn't want that to combust while you're sleeping under your pillow and you there. That is definitely
some of us like to do that. So try to avoid that.
We also talking when you talk about heat wave, we know oftentimes we look out for bushfires. I mean, that's usually in the dry season. So, do we have any concern about anything like that in this heat wave that we're about to experience?
Well, currently, we've been warned by the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service of an impending heat wave coming on, where we're going to see degrees above 34 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Based on the precipitation that we get, I'm not a meteorologist, but we are guided by them. We are on an alert for those type of situations. And yes, we do see an uptick in bushfires around the September-October hot spell period.
Okay.
It's not predominant, it's not a major issue, but we still want persons to be aware that it can affect us.
But even with all that rain that was falling the other day?
I'm hoping that the precipitation would cool down and the soil will be, able to take the heat.
All right. Officer Das, tell me what we've been doing or what we have planned for Fire Service Prevention Week, because, I mean, lots of warnings, lots of safety things, and I'm sure that you guys have a lot on your plate. Yeah. But let me know some of the things that we launched. I understand you launched a WhatsApp channel recently.
Yes, we did for purpose of information to members of the public. We launched our WhatsApp channel with a QR code so that we give members of the public relevant information with the concern this year, which is lithium-ion batteries. We launched Fire Prevention Week actually with a church service on Sunday. Our counterparts in the different divisions are going out to members of the public in different malls, just engaging them, giving them that relevant information about lithium-ion batteries. And it's all about education. Educate members of the public to just raise the awareness with the hazards associated with the lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah. In terms of when you go out and talk to people, tell me some of the biggest things that come up in terms of what are people's concerns, or what are the concerns you have after talking to people about how they use their batteries, etc.
Well, first and foremost, a lot of persons are not even aware of some of the dangers. I mean, we know that cell phones in the past were part of fires, but what we're realizing, there are much more devices. We would have come across investigations where an electric fan that is powered by a lithium-ion battery, so that a fan has the backup power, was the cause of a fire. Yes, a rechargeable fan.
Right.
It was the cause of a fire in a particular HDC home.
Wow.
Right, and that person would have lost that entire floor. We're seeing more and more electronic devices as children are in use of electronic devices, even toys, remotes, all of these items. And so if persons are not aware, we're recommending use the assigned charger, or what is the manufactured charger for the device. Some persons use the generic, and you know where I'm going with this. And you should be able to tell the signs of when your particular device is reaching its useful life, the battery life. So if you realize you're charging and that charging period is cutting down to useful life of half an hour, less than an hour,
right,
and you're accustomed with 8 hours, you've reached the end of the life of that device, it's time to discard of the device. All right, so we need persons to be aware of that and manage it properly.
Do we see a proliferation of fires now that start with lithium batteries?
I would say yes, we're seeing it. It's not as predominant as our counterparts in New York and London and some of those other jurisdictions. But because NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association, which we borrow or they lend to us their codes, we're part of that, their international body that lends us their codes, we recognize their theme this year focuses on lithium-ion battery. And so we're not going to wait until it becomes an epidemic or for borrowing a little medical term, in Trinidad or to do something about it. We want persons to be aware. This is a proactive action by the fire service to get ahead of it before we have major fires as a result of lithium-ion batteries.
I was going to say prevention is always better than cure.
That's why we're here.
Speaking of prevention, Officer Das, tell me what some of the things are. How important is it for us to have a plan of action if we were to ever have a fire at your home, for example? So
we in the fire service always promote home fire safety, residential fire safety, right? And one of the things that we encourage is do an evacuation drill at home with you and your families. Create a scenario where there may be a fire and one of your exits may be compromised. Let's say your front door.
Right.
So you plan an evacuation time yourselves. Make sure you and your family have an escape route to a secondary means of egress, which might be a back door, side door. And that's one of the things that we promote. Also having early warning devices in your homes in the form of smoke alarms. Smoke alarms will detect fire, smoke in that early stage and create a sound for you to hear while you may be at sleep.
Yeah.
And we also promote you having fire extinguishers at your home. So these are some of the tips and safety tips that we promote as residential fire safety.
Now, I know we talk about the alarms and we talk about the fire extinguishers on an annual basis almost. And it's important to continue to remind people. Remind me where in the homes is the suggested places for the fire alarms?
Okay, so for persons, every bedroom, hear the beep where you sleep. That's one of our
Hear
key
the beep where you
points. Hear the beep where you sleep. Because this is the thing, we're all working rockers. You know, we work very hard and we come home, we get rest, and we're back out to work, back out to school. And so persons need to hear that where they sleep so they can arise and they can respond, just as Officer Das said, and effect your evacuation. Also, you want to have it where we cook, but you want to have a heat detector in the kitchen and not a smoke detector. And those are now available, battery-operated heat detectors. They are available at the safety stores throughout Trinidad and Tobago. All right, your living room is another area that we occupy. You want to have and of course, storerooms or wherever you have electronics and those type of devices.
All right, tell me, what sort of information we share on the WhatsApp channel? Is it the same information that we share?
Well, we're starting off with lithium-ion batteries.
Right.
So we're going to go straight into that. We have the video that you showcase for us, and we have a number of sort of cartoon. We want to appeal to kids.
Okay.
You know, because we're going out to school. Some of our visits are going to be to schools as well. We believe that if we change the mindset of the children, we will have a future, or children will be fire safe.
And you know what's the best part? The children make sure and hold their parents accountable.
And that's the key. So we focus on them. So a lot of our videos are geared towards children and helping them to understand the dangers, because, you know, they're the ones that operate with technology more than we do, right?
Facts. And they know how to charge it and everything, and they know exactly what they're doing. So it's better we make sure that they are safe as possible. In terms of the battery-powered smoke alarms, though, do we have that same concern with the batteries?
We are seeing new battery systems coming into play, and of course, lithium-ion batteries are going to be in some smoke detectors, but predominantly we're still using the technology from the past. So when it's done and you change the battery. So that's a good thing. You don't want the smoke alarm to be the one that's causing a thermal runaway, right?
That'd be a whole different story. In the case of that situation of a thermal runaway, is it the same evacuation plan like normal, or is there a specific evacuation plan that you need to follow? Do you need to clear the place completely one time? Do you try to extinguish it? What do you do in that situation?
So in that situation, what we recommend a copious amount of water.
Right.
In the instance that there is a fire stemming from your lithium-ion batteries, right? And again, the evacuation procedure at home would be more or less the same. Evacuate safely. Dial 990. Call a hero.
Call a hero at 990. They say call fire first. You definitely want to heed that warning. Officer Rogers, before we wrap up this morning, any words that what's the plan for the rest of the week in terms of fire prevention?
That's the key. So, you're right. So we have Port of Spain, which is our northern division.
Right.
They were out in the bus terminus on yesterday.
Nice.
And they're going to be going to places like where they have high-rise buildings, where they're going to conduct evacuation drills. And when they do that, they will communicate with the residents about the lithium-ion batteries. In the south, where they're visiting as well Home for the Aged, high-rises as well, and they're going to be down in Atlantic LNG, one of the co-sponsors with them down there, supporting them, and they have a lot of activities. They're also going to be on the promenade on Friday, that's in Port of Spain. In the central division, we're partnering with Massey Stores and Price Mart and Courts.
Right.
So guess what? We use a lot of electronics there. So we're going to meet and greet with the customers when they come in, and we're going to tell them about the dangers and share the information with them. So all in all, it's going to be a bumper pack activity, and we're not going to stop there. We have Diwali coming up and we have Christmas. We're going to keep that message going on for the rest of the year.
Lithium batteries, I mean, when we talk about Diwali, we oftentimes see around this time of the year, whether it's Diwali, Christmas, we often see some kind of major fire happening. So obviously that prevention is very, very important. Any words you want to leave with them to wrap up this morning? I'll give you both an opportunity to say some last words this morning.
So we in the fire service, we just want to encourage our citizens to adopt a more safety culture at homes. From the little ones to our adults, come together. Probably once a week, spend a few minutes talking about fire safety, extinguishers. If you have one at home, what's the proper way to use it? You have your smoke alarms at home, hopefully. Show the kids how to test it. Let them be familiar with the song that may emanate from it in the event of a fire. So that's what we're trying to push.
Nice.
Yeah, I just want to say that prevention is better than cure. And for some persons, safety and safety lessons are written in blood. And I hope you understand what I mean by that.
course.
And so we do not, and I'm using a lot of puns here, we don't want to burn to learn. And so in this case, we're asking, heed the information. We would like you to share our QR code, and I know you all have put it up on the screen. Please share this information, and this will become the new way that we'll communicate with our public, and it's going to be a hub where you can go and get vital information.
The QR code is up on your screen right now. All you have to do is put your phone camera up to it. You would see it comes up, and you click it. You will join the WhatsApp channel and get all the information from Trinidad and Tobago Fire Services as it pertains to fire prevention, especially this week as we kick off the Fire Service Prevention Week for 2025. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure being
Please
here.
continue to do the great work that you're doing and spread the word so that we can be as safe as we possibly can be as a nation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah? Take care, enjoy the rest of it. Ladies and gentlemen, we were chatting with Fire Sub Officer Jude Rogers and Fire Prevention Officer Rakesh Das this morning, and it's all about fire prevention. Please don't burn to learn. 990 is the number to call for a hero. Let's take a quick break and come back with more in our morning show. Stick around.